Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
Welcome back to another great episode of Foxborough Central. You heard the man. I'm Bob Hickey, your host. So good of you to sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of time with me and my guest, Katie Adair. Katie.
Hi, Bob.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Katie Adair, for folks at home, is a member of our school committee. 7 years, right?
Yes,
so you're running for a fourth term, your third election. Fourth election?
My fourth election,
wow,
correct.
Time flies, does it not?
It does.
Unbelievable. So Katie has been on our board of our school committee for 7 years now. Yes. And you are running for the full 3-year term.
Correct.
And Katie, you are a very smart person who gives of herself and her time, but why are you doing this again?
Well, I'm doing it because I love Foxborough and I want to continue to work for the citizens and for the students in this town. I've had a great experience for the past 7 years. I believe we've accomplished a lot, and I've accomplished a lot. I've been an important member of the school committee, and I have a passion for education. I have a passion for this town, and I just want to continue to propel us in the direction that we've been moving in for some time. There's still things that we need to do, and I want to be part of that process, that solution of continuing to identify those areas and working, as a team to achieve those goals.
Well, I have 2 kids, as
yes,
I'm
I
sure
know.
you know, who are in the school system, and I will say that I believe too that we're in a good period right now. Things seem to be going in a very positive direction, be it funding, be it academic achievement, being infrastructure, and so before we even get into the issues, got to talk about family. Your 3 kids?
Yes, I have 3 children, all who have and are going through the Foxborough school system. All started actually at Project Early when it was at the IGO, and it's now at the Borough School. Okay. And my oldest is a junior. My daughter is a junior in college, and I have a son who's a freshman in college. Wow. And then I have a junior, my son who's a junior at Foxborough High School.
Excellent.
Yes, so.
Well, time does fly, though.
It does.
I still remember him in Cub and Boy Scouts.
That's right.
As we were
That's right.
He's
a lot taller than that now.
And a great soccer player also, right?
Yes.
So, Katie, I've known you for a long time, and I'm sure the folks at home also know some of your accomplishments, but hey, this is your program. Okay. Why don't you tell me some of the things over the last 7 years that you're pretty tickled about that have happened in a good way here?
Okay, well, first I just want to tell people that I've been living in Foxborough for 23 years. And as I said, I have 3 children, and I've been on the school committee for 7 years. I do work out in the world, too, just to give a little bit of my professional background as well. I'm a registered nurse, and I have my master's in healthcare administration, and I work at a behavioral health facility. As the director of risk management. So I've been doing that for the past 5 years, but before that, I was at home with my children, and I was very involved in volunteering in the school system, even before I got onto the school committee. And before the school committee, I was actually on the advisory committee too. So that gave me a great overview of the dynamics in the town and the budget process. And I use a lot of that and learned a lot obviously now that I'm on the school committee.
You know what, that's very interesting. I had forgotten that piece, so that's why I love having these kind of conversations. Yes. And you at home, I have the opportunity to meet Katie here if you've not spent some extended time. And as we get into it, remember she is running for re-election to the school committee, so it's important that you come out and vote on Tuesday, April 30th. And if you have any questions that we don't maybe cover today, Katie can be contacted. Feel free to give her a call. She's in the book at 543-8447. I wrote it down, I cheated. Yes. But Katie, as we get into this discussion about some accomplishments, the schools are going pretty well right now. You read in the paper, some things are positively happening, but you were on the AdCom, and if memory serves, were you the school liaison?
I was.
In the AdCom,
yes.
And that's how you got, okay.
I was on the AdCom for 2 years.
See, it's in there, it's foggy, but it's in there, it's coming back.
Yes, and then Mr. Vinigo unfortunately had passed away, and so his seat, he had 1 more year left on his seat, so I ran for that, and so I've been on the school committee since then.
And you won that election, and you won 2 subsequent ones, so even though it's 7 years, this is your 4th election.
Correct. Yes, it is.
It's amazing.
Yes.
How do you like elections?
They're part of the process, They are. So, voters have a right to learn all about the candidates and make their decisions about who they want to vote for.
Well, I'm glad we have these conversations because, you know, part of it is it's a beauty contest. I've got nice signs, they're out, they're here, they're there. But once you win the post, you are expected to accomplish something. I know that you've accomplished some things. So, and I know that you've got 7 years worth of material in a very short amount of time, so maybe one or two topics.
Yes. Well, I think, you know, the one topic that is obviously what brought me to the school committee, and I think is obviously a passion, is, you know, increasing academic achievement. Okay. That's a word that obviously encompasses a lot of different facets of education. And so while I've been on the committee, we have looked at a lot of different pieces of what academic achievement means, meaning MCAS scores to SAT scores to AP offerings, but it also means maintaining small class sizes at the elementary school level, which we've been able to do. And when I say small, I mean 18 to 20. It's increasing AP classes at the high school. It's identifying and really examining the data that, you know, the administrators bring forth every year in the fall on MCAS scores. Since I've been on the committee, we spend a lot of time really going through that data to understand where are the gaps in our curriculum, where are the areas that we need to improve upon. And, you know, education, there's no one single magic bullet, and MCAS is just one piece of it. So, for instance, in the past, we identified that math was an issue, and we then brought in 2 math specialists now that are in the elementary school levels, that go into all 3 elementary schools, and that are assisting teachers in the classroom, and obviously, you know, math specialists to work on that area. And we've seen improvements now in those scores. So we have literacy specialists too, obviously, in the elementary school levels. It's about so many different pieces. It's about, you know, building a guidance program at the high school, which, since I've been on the committee, now we have a department head, we have group guidance, we have a curriculum for guidance. We have, like I mentioned before, we're offering more AP classes. Like this year, again, we're proposing several of those: AP Psych, AP Physics. We're also increasing the curriculum also at the high school level as well.
AP is advanced placement.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry.
So,
yes.
No, this is a great conversation because AP Psych?
Yes, yes. Exact psychology,
when I went
yes.
to high school, I don't remember there being a psychology course.
There is, yes, and it's actually a very popular class, and so now they're expanding it, and of course we're going to wait and see, you know, as to how many students obviously you know, sign up for that particular class, and that will obviously drive whether we continue with some of these offerings. But we're expanding the curriculum at all the levels.
Well, that's really interesting because schools are often criticized, and I'm not saying Foxborough schools, but schools are often criticized for not preparing students for college or for the workplace or for real life America. And so it seems as though Foxborough schools, or at least some of what you're doing, is working to meet and beat that criticism. So
definitely.
And you know, there's so much. I know we're not going to have enough time to get to everything, but I'm gonna just zing them at you. So you're talking about the math supports that were placed at the elementary schools and the literacy supports that are placed. And you said they're measurable. You've actually been able to measure improvements in the MCAS scores?
Well, yes.
Maybe not 100% to that, but
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's a total approach, but that's a piece of it.
Exactly. It's a piece of it. It's again, it's not one single bullet. It's a myriad of things that we do to improve academic achievement. And, you know, part of that is identifying what services the students need in the classroom. And that is really tied into the budget. And obviously the budget is, that process I'm very proud of. We start in the fall. We hear from department heads. We hear from administrators. We hear from, we hear from voters as well. But they come in during the school committee meetings and they are presenting what it is that they need in the classroom. And we build the budget from there. And it's a conversation that goes on for weeks, and it's providing visibility to all so that they can see the process. Because as we all know, in May, we need, obviously, people to support the budget so that we can provide those services. And we base it on what students need, not what, and obviously all the time we don't get everything that we need. I mean, we oftentimes have department heads and principals and we ask them, what's your wish list?
Of course, that's true in life.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's good to live by, right? But it's, they'll come in and they'll say, well, we could use perhaps, another specialist or something else, another position. And obviously we can't grant them all that. We have to be fiscally responsible. And that's where I think, my AdCom experience too comes in, where I understand the competing needs of different departments within the town. But again, we try to prioritize, and of course we get assistance from the administrators because they help guide us as well, and they make their list of priorities. But there are times that we decide as a school committee that we want something different. For instance, this past year, just a couple month or so ago when we approved the budget, there was a position of a 0.2 psychologist. Now, right now we have a 0.8 psychologist at the high school level. We have over 800 students there. And as you know, and I think most people know, there's a lot of students who struggle with social emotional needs, and obviously that's part of, I come with this professional background as well on that. But so, we decided that let's add this 0.2 to kind of make this whole for the at the high school level to address some of those needs, because they're growing. The needs are growing in terms of that.
Well, and also, of course, awareness and education breeds an understanding that there's additional services that can and should be offered.
Exactly.
So it's great that you're on the right side of the bell curve when it comes to being proactive as opposed to reactive, because you do see so many school issues, and particularly with things such as bullying, and you read in the newspapers horrible incidents that happen, and every community has its share, and we've had our share of bullying also, and unfortunate incidences, and going back to the 80s and 90s, some significant issues between our students and students from other towns, and a lot of those things have been overcome in the rearview mirror. Hopefully they're permanently in the rearview mirror, but those who rest on their laurels are usually caught with their pants down at some point. So it's great to hear that there's a forward-looking approach.
Yes. Well, we have quite an extensive policy on anti-bullying that was developed in 2010, which of course is mandated by law, and so we have a lot of programs. Too many to kind of get into at this, in this conversation.
Well, suffice it to say, Foxborough takes it seriously.
Absolutely, absolutely, we need to, and certainly professionally, I see the impact of this, years later on people. So, we do. We need to continue to shine the light on that and continue to work. But again, that's one piece of helping the whole child, learn.
And I know also that you've worked with the school committee has reached out and is working with the police department. I know Chief Adair later this month, probably before the election, is doing a series on sexual abuse and prevention.
Yes, that's right. They already had one in the
I think you've opened up the schools to this program.
Yes, that's right.
What a great partnership that is, and how open-minded and forward-thinking and responsible of the school committee to encourage that to happen. So thank you for that. Sorry, folks at home. I think it's a really good positive message to do, and a good positive message program to have in the schools. And so
definitely. Another thing, obviously, is the Foxborough High School renovation that was just completed.
Just completed.
Yes.
It is completed, right?
Yeah, it is.
It really is?
Yes, it is.
Honest to goodness?
Yes,
okay.
It is really completed. But, I mean, there again, a 40-plus-year-old building that needed major renovation. And,
Well, even going back to your time on the advisory committee when I was a selectman, we were faced with the discontinuation, or the suspension, if you will, of the state reimbursement program. And we had our schools on the waiting list, and there was a hue and cry that we needed to spend our money for. But I really think the wise thing happened in waiting until those funds were freed up, and while it wasn't reinstated, they did address the backlog of schools that had already been approved, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, you are. You have a good
Sometimes
memory.
I remember these things.
Yes.
But that saved us a tremendous amount of money.
It did. It absolutely did.
And the school looks great.
It does.
The windows being replaced, and
the science
modernizing
labs.
the auditorium, the science labs, that was a real issue.
Yes. Yeah.
The accessibility issues.
Definitely.
And down to issues such as signage and just general safety.
Yes.
So,
yes.
good stuff.
Yeah, it is. And of course, now we're looking to the Borough School.
We have a few more items on the docket.
We do.
You were not all done?
No, I wish we were. But, again, we need to make sure the facilities that we have our students learning in and our teachers teaching in are safe and good learning environment. So, we do.
Some other day we'll get into a discussion on my thoughts of flat roofs, but it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
But that is something that's coming down the road. And so I guess the obvious question now that begs to be asked, I'm sure folks at home are wondering the same thing. What are you going to do over the next 3 years? Why do you want to do this again?
I get asked that a lot, actually.
Of course, there's always the old adage, you want something done, you ask a really busy person to do it.
Yes.
So we'll go with that.
Well, because I feel that we've accomplished a lot, but there's still more work to be done. And again, I want to continue to work for the students and for the voters and the citizens in town. And you know, we do have more challenges, and the Borough School is certainly one of them. Academic achievement is, you know, is always going to be there. We're going to continually look at that. Obviously, we have
a continually changing landscape, and you know, the technology jobs of 5 years ago are really outdated now. As technology evolves, and the world that we knew at 20 years ago, no bearing on this. I mean, when I went to high school, there weren't computers, and you know, it's just one of those things where, can you imagine such a thing now?
I know, and which leads to technology, which is that we need, you know, that's another challenge that we face. We really need to have, we're going to hopefully by the summer get a 3-year plan where we're really looking extensively at what it is that we anticipate we need, what kind of resources are out there that we can employ. You know, we have to be able to support teachers in the classroom. We have, you know, technology, that's one of our objectives in our strategic plan, is to, you know, give our students 21st century skills with technology, and so we need to do that. You know, that's the other thing I'm really proud of, is our school committee goals and how closely aligned they are to the strategic plan that also we have for the school district. That really provides the framework for what we do and why we're doing things, and I think that that's really important, because when you have any huge issues, you know, any kind of, we're a corporation, would you say? You know, we need to have
a large business.
Yeah, a large business. We need a
You're in the business of educating our kids, but we're a very large business.
Right, and we need a roadmap of where we're going. You know, and the strategic plan and the school committee goals are part of that. Communication is a big thing too, that I've definitely advocated for, and feel really that we've done a good job. But we can even do more, because especially around budget time, we hear these questions about, you know, from people, you know, well, why are you doing this or doing that? And we think, oh, we've all along we've been talking about this. But you know, we need to keep doing that even more. We need to keep reaching out, and I think it's really important, because people want to know where their tax dollars are going. So
well, you know, and Foxborough Cable Access does videotape or show live the school committee meetings. But,
that's right.
You know, it's one of those things where how much information is there, and being in the school committee, you deal with so many things: budget, forward-looking, as far as enrollment projections, as far as budgetary constraints, and then you always get the mid-year issues that happen.
Exactly.
Katie, I cannot believe that this 20 minutes is already flown.
Oh, I can't either.
For folks at home, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me and my guest, Katie Adair. Again, if you want to reach out to Katie on your own, ask her a question, see how she's doing, wish her luck. 543-8447. Katie, you get the last word.
I get the last word. Well, I just want to thank you very much, Bob, for having me, and for people watching. And I ask for your support and your vote on Tuesday, April 30th, and I will be honored to continue to work for you and the students of Foxborough. Thank you so much.
Very good. And folks at home, thank you for taking a little bit of time to sit with me and my guest, Katie Adair, who is on the school committee and is running again as a member of the Foxborough School Committee. If you'd like to see an episode of this or any other Foxborough Central, please log on to our website, www.fcatv.org. Of course, this is election season, and I'll be joining with you live on election night, April 30th at 8 o'clock when the polls close. I'll be interviewing the candidates, and we'll be waiting for live election results. Until then, Foxborough, have a great day.